You know the myth of the Garden of Eden and the fall of man, that when Adam and Eve had eaten the fruit of the tree of knowledge, death came into the world. Why? It wasn't that there wasn't death before. All creatures in nature come and go, everything is born and dies. But for the first time, having eaten the fruit of the tree of knowledge, that is, having invented a system of knowledge, the world of symbols, people knew that they were going to die. When a cat approaches another dead cat, he sniffs it and sees if it's good to eat, decides that it's not, and goes away. Probably, although we don't know for certain, probably the cat doesn't reflect, I will one day be a corpse like that. But human beings predict, because they are able to think about events with symbols and words, they are able to see what the future will be. And we all believe, don't we, that this is the most useful kind of knowledge that we have. To know the future, and therefore to be able to plan for it. To have your savings account, your life insurance, to plan for your old age. That's great. But at the same time it has very serious disadvantages. Because the more you know the future and are thereby able to control it, the more you realize that you can't control it ultimately, that you are going to come to a bad end. And so that's what makes human beings so strange. All human beings are therefore slightly anxious, slightly depressed. There's a certain kind of sadness in human nature which the Japanese call aware, a melancholy deep down in us, because we know, in the words of the song, but it all comes apart in the end. And even diamonds come apart in the end. And so it's a curious thing whether a human being is really a logical construction. It's a great question. Whether a human being is not actually a self-defeating organism, a creature who knows too much for his own good. Because the proverb, what you gain on the roundabout, you lose on the swings. So with man. What you gain in power by having foresight and dexterity in controlling the world through symbols, what a price we pay for it. Because no one of us can any longer afford to be spontaneous. Imagine a life in which you don't have to take any provision for the future. You do just what you feel like on impulse. Now, you would make many mistakes, and you might do things that would be quite fatal, like a moth, which can't distinguish between a candle and the sex call of a female. And so it flies straight into the flame and it blows up. Is that too bad? In a way, from the standpoint of the universe, it's a fairly good arrangement, because if this didn't happen, there would be too many moths. And every time a moth plunges into the flame, it's a sudden disaster. The moth isn't worried about this. I mean, it doesn't have anxiety about it before it happens, and the moth goes out, just like that, with a glorious explosion. And so in the same way, all these creatures who don't think what to do next, cats don't lie awake at night worrying about what contracts they're going to have to make the next day. And yet, Nothing can match the dignity of a cat when it walks and when it licks itself. What a magnificent creature. So imagine a world in which there isn't any worry. There will be disasters, but you won't know it's going to hit you. But we have figured out how to beat that world, how to last longer and to be more smart than any other creature on earth. But the price is anxiety. The price is lying awake nights. The price is having an ego.